it's already pleasure.
Dude, imagine if we actually got those firing wings. I mean, our video will go viral. What? Is he filming?
Probably.
Are you going?
All right, and we're back. Not only are we back with another video, but we're back with a normal training block because I just finished my deload week. So going back to upping the intensity just a little bit. And speaking of upping intensity, one of the things I'm actually going to be doing is changing the way that my routine is structured a little bit. So in the past 15 weeks, I've been squatting 3 times per week, and my knees have just been taking too much of a beating. I've talked about this in a couple of videos, but I'm going to scale it back to just twice a week for the time being. Also, I'm going to pay extra attention on those AMRAP sets just to make sure that I'm being able to recuperate. I was really hoping that during this deload week, I'd feel a lot better, and I just didn't. My knees didn't get any better. So I need to make a change only because I don't want to do any long-term damage. Now, that being said, speaking of long-term damage. You like that? You like that? How about them Redskins? You like that? I like that. 9-7, winning the NFC East. Who would have ever thunk it? Not RG3, that's for one. But
you're going to see the snap of the ball. It's low, and then as he goes down, but as he's trying to get it here, you see that knee go.
probably by the time you're watching this video, the Green Bay Packers have already beat us in our first playoff game at home. So my enthusiasm is very short-lived, but I thought I'd give it up to them while I can. Speaking about giving it up, I'm also watching Yasmin Garcia as I sip on my Tier 1 pre-workout. So back to the normal pre-workout. One of the things I like to do is just catch up on other YouTubers while I get ready to train because it motivates me, number one, to step up my editing game and put out better videos, which I still haven't gotten the hang of doing, but also just seeing all these people making all this progress and me kind of doing the same old stuff. It really makes me want to up my game a little bit. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, drink that, watch her, and get to the basement where I belong. We'll see you soon. So I probably shouldn't have made that RG3 joke so soon because literally right after making it, I went down to the basement to train and my left knee felt like absolute garbage. So much so, in fact, I decided to go ahead and film some of my warm-up sets just so I could see if I could make any changes to help alleviate the issues I was having with that. And I got the bright idea to start squatting wider. Now, I also got some side views of these wider stance squats only because traditionally my bad hip mobility has really stopped my depth even more than it's already stopped because my other mobility. So I wanted to see where I was. From here, I also decided to go ahead and eventually throw on some flats, only because if I'm squatting that wide, Olympic shoes probably don't have that much of a benefit. But the switch really got to me at first because I wasn't used to not having that 3/4 of an inch elevation. I fell back just a little bit, but I think part of that was also I was trying to push my hips back more to eliminate some of that forward knee travel in hopes of alleviating that pain, and things felt pretty grindy overall. So finally, after I decided on a form and a pair of shoes, I decided to do some working sets with 315 for sets of 5. Went off the program a little bit here just because I was literally worried that I was going to snap my knee and never lift again. And it's really funny about how down you can get from just a bad workout or a bad feeling. I was at the point in this training session where I was considering just giving up everything overall. That's powerlifting in general, just because the last 2 weeks have been so shitty. But it's interesting because leading up to that, the 8 weeks prior, everything went so well. And I think that really contributed to this workout being so bad was the fact that I was looking forward to going back to low bar, my preferred stance. I made such great progress on my high bar. I thought this would have great transition to my low bar, and it just wasn't where I wanted to be for this particular training session. However, going back now and doing editing and watching all these clips over, I actually don't think things look that bad. So from an actual technique and form perspective, I'm not that mad. Although I do know that during that day, my knee felt like a motherfucker. After finally finishing squats, we moved on to bench, and that's one of the things with changing the program that's going to be really interesting, just because literally I will be benching 5 times a week. Not so sure how I felt about that going into this on a Monday. New day, Tuesday, bench day. This split really caters towards the bros benching every day. One of the things I'm going to do for this particular week though is just treat it more like an extended deload after the Monday session and my knee feeling wonky. Not going to really push myself too hard, just going to work with some numbers and not really worry about it to try to get my groove back. just like my friend Stella. So also training 5 times per week has opened up some new things for me, mainly being that I don't have to deadlift right after squatting. So for the past 15 weeks, that's really what I've been doing. So this is the first session I've deadlifted without squatting beforehand. It's also the first time I've done paused deadlifts. Now the way that Garrett has it in the programming, it's pause at the knees. And I say that because I posted this on Instagram and a lot of people said I should be pausing lower. And for me, I just try to stick to my programming because I'm already fucking it up enough. So I needed to do this. But I felt it a lot in my glutes, which is surprising because I don't normally feel a deadlift there. So it's definitely different for me than a traditional block pull. So this should be interesting going forward. All right, so we're here in my kitchen, and it's interesting only because, well, it's not interesting because I'm in my kitchen, but there's some things that we're going to be switching up for today's portion of the training. Now, depending on when you watch this, I probably more than likely just recently put up a video, maybe even the one previous to the one you're watching, talking about tracking macros and how I'm going back on it. You can probably see from my meal choices, everything was pretty conservative as far as that's concerned, and it's time to go ahead and switch things up. So I'll show you what I'll be having as a pre-workout here today. Going back to the good old Sour Patch Kids. This is 1 serving. This is like 200 calories, which is real fucked up. So like when I tracked and showed you what I ate, I said I want to really make sure I make the right choices because it's easy to kind of go overboard when you're talking about things like candy. And all your macros are gone really quick. And the other thing that's going to be different today is I'm actually going to go to the gym to train because I'm meeting up with Mike and Eric from Anabolic Aliens. They have a channel and they're somewhat local to me. I believe they're from Mass and they're in college. So whenever they're home, they hit me up to train. And literally I've been a bastard and haven't been able to like for the past year. I initially met them at an RPS meet I did before. So finally going to get in some training with them. Going to go to Ocean State Health and Fitness, just because the wife probably thinks it's weird to have 2 young college boys in my basement working out, getting sweaty with me. If it was just 1, I might have been able to convince her, but for 2, we're gonna have to go to Ocean State. So we'll see you at the gym. Oh, super zoomed in my face. What's up, everybody? So we're in the gym, Ocean State Health and Fitness. We're actually with my dudes, Mike and Eric from Anabolic Aliens. I don't even know if you can hear this right now. We're here, we're gonna get some squats and bench, and we're in Nick Wright's gym, and Nick Wright's not here because he's in Cabo wearing Gucci flip-flops, as Nick Wright's do. And Olympus Iron was also supposed to meet up with us, but he's unable to attend because he's scurred. All right, so let's get to some training. So what's your plan today? What are you doing?
I might go for a max. We'll see how it goes. I'm gonna try the 4 reps, 4 pause, 4 seconds.
Good for you. 315 now.
Would you like a squat?
This asshole just benched 385 pounds the other day. Maybe I'll show a clip here and steal all his views, and you guys can go check him out too. That's some bullshit. All right, so again, big thanks to Mike and Eric for coming down from Anabolic Aliens. Definitely check out their channel if you haven't already. I think it's a little bit over an hour drive for them, so I appreciate them coming down on a Wednesday night to meet up and train with me. They're also gracious enough to jump in my own training programming, which called for bench and squats, because again, when you're benching 5 times per week, there's a pretty good chance you're going to be benching if you come and hang out with me. Now, we had actually warmed up for squats first because that's what the program called for, but the gym that we were training at actually only has 1 real squat rack, and they have this other ghetto one that's not very fun, as you can see in the background right now. They have a Smith machine as well, which we jokingly talked about squatting in, but we warmed up for squats, and by the time we were ready to do them, the racks were already taken, so we decided to just go ahead and do bench, because again, we're trying to get back on that bro day split. So you're gonna see us do some paused, extended pauses, and then also work on some spoto pressing. Just gonna throw in some random clips here just because this is going to be a little bit longer of a video as is. You'll also see that Eric also usually tries to get his ass in most of my shots, subconsciously or not. All right, so I think Mike is going to go for a rep PR at 315. He was thinking about maxing, but the bench here is actually really slippery. We don't have any bands to hold us down, so I think he's just gonna go for a rep PR, which is still a lot better than I can do, so let's see what he does. If you fuck up, the whole world's gonna see it. Let's go, come on, let's get it. Come on. Come on. Get it.
That was easy. So absurd.
Tore my labia. So believe it or not, I think that was their first times doing spoto pressing, and they both did a fantastic job. After that, again, moving on to squats, had to warm up again, and they were gracious enough to take the shittier of the squat racks because, I gotta be honest, I hate this thing that they're squatting in. They actually had this in my high school. They had, I think, 3 of them when I first started training, and maybe that was one of the reasons why I never squatted in the past. My big complaint with this thing is the way that the safeties are set up. They're non-adjustable. So if you ever got deep enough, which, let's be honest, I never have that problem, you could potentially hit those safeties. So in order to squat really deep, you'd have to step completely outside of the rack, which means you have to take like 6 or 7 steps back. It's also interesting, just for my own personal mindset, how much of a 180 I pulled since Monday. Although my knee was still aching a little bit, squats felt tremendously better on this particular day, and I no longer am considering giving up lifting. So that's always good. My plan for the day was just to work up to a triple of 405. I think Mike wanted to max out, and Eric was just going to squat. It's also interesting just because the music in the gym was so bad, they had like an R&B station on, so I'll let you hear some of the commentary.
This R. Kelly or something? It's the R&B Spotify. Always cracking. I'm old, man. That's right. Even the SBDs can't help you sometimes. Campbell. Felt better on my knee the heavier I went, surprisingly. That's how it goes. Don't pass out. Nice. They hit that.
So I fucked up real bad. So Eric and Mike, after we got done training, I said, hey, you know what? Let's go in this jazzercise room. Lots of mirrors, better lighting, no one really there, and good sound because of all the gym noise that you guys heard in the earlier clips. And I said, let's go ahead and just talk a little bit and share some insight about your channel so we can get you guys some subscribers. And what happened? I gone done fucked up the audio. So none of the audio recorded. Couldn't hear anything. Basically, I asked Mike to talk about his previous knee injury. He tore his MCL, ACL, and all sorts of shit. Whatever. Came back strong, as you guys saw. He tied his all-time PR with 495. Eric talked a little bit, too, about their channel, what they try to do on there. So I very much appreciate them coming down and training with me. I'm sorry that I dropped the ball and fucked this up, but if you get the chance, definitely go and check out their channel. They're actually going to go to New York very soon and do a lot of collaborations with a lot of other YouTubers that you're probably more than familiar with. So Thursday came and I benched. And then I also deadlifted. My goal today was just work up to a decent triple. I moved up to 500 for 3, which is something I haven't pulled conventional from the floor in a very long time. And it felt really good, so I was really happy with myself. Really happy. So Friday came, and what did I do? I benched again. This one was done later at night. I had a busy day at work, then went to the movies with my dad. Went to see The Revenant, which I wasn't really impressed with, besides the fact that it had great cinematography, and Tom Hardy is a straight savage in it. But overall, 5 days of benching in a row. It was interesting. Actually worked up to a heavy set of 300 for 3 on close grip bench, but in the long run, I'm not sure 5 times benching per week is going to be optimal for me. So I'm going to talk to Garrett about it and potentially make some changes going forward. As always, thanks for watching. In the meantime, stay big.